All right, everybody, let's get right into it. I'm back on a Thursday after being away on Tuesday. What's going on? Great to see everybody. Gonna need a level check, sound check, speed check. You guys got to keep me posted. Let me know how we're sounding, looking, and everything like that. What's going on, folks? Get into the chat. Let's talk about today's explosive earnings, Microsoft, Meta, all the Mag7 too. Great to see you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Got it. We're all good. Thanks, Pete. Clear, good, looking good, sounds good, screen's good. How about the markets? Good? Great? Awesome. You got to be really kind of encouraged. And I expect, look, this is overextended, no doubt. We're at the summer peak here. We're beyond peak levels, guys. I don't even know if you know that, but we're so far beyond peak levels. It is remarkable. Let's start with NASDAQ. Obviously, we'll talk Mag7 today. All of that. You got it. I'm good. How you doing, Pete? Great to see you. Thanks. Awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to take some days off, so I maybe take one more day off next week and just be chill. Cause let me just share with what I'm thinking here, guys. That we're here well above all of the levels we have talked about, targeted since I don't know April, right? Is it anybody surprised about where we are after the T1? Target 1, NASDAQ. All the patterns we have here are just absolutely getting eviscerated. So for me, I look at that as a constructive sign. Not to mention, look, we are got to recognize short term. Of course, we are overbought. We're overbought. We're up like I don't know, getting like 30+% off the low. And now we got to target bigger things for rest of the year into next year. And that fits exactly with how we have been talking about what should happen this summer since April or May. And again, remember what we said about June. Remember we were saying, look, June's got to be a month over, a day over day, week over week building process to go to new highs. Well, that's what it was. And right now, literally, the remarkable thing is we are at the hop level. That's our 23,600, 23595, 50 to be exact. That's our top end target. In fact, I'm still going to say that this is not a bad spot to be looking for at least a pause, a peak for the summer, a little break, if you will. I mean, look, the measured levels here, overspill levels, everything have been exceeded. We're now at a hop level off of a big bat pattern, and it's an ugly bat. I mean, this is just no mojo here. And look, there's T1 with confirmation, no less. And we've been talking, just lining it up like this for the last couple of months. We hit the target, we hit the pattern, which was our minimum objective. Sideways, sideways, 3, 5, 7, 10, 12, still higher. 20 higher, 30 higher. And now we're at the hop, which is what we basically said. If we were thinking, 3 months ago, say, hey, we're going to get to 23.6, you probably thought I would have been crazy. But here we are. And so let's talk more craziness, because utilizing all of what we know, especially within the context of the last 3 months, what is this going to do? Where are we headed with this? And I'm still going to say that what we're in the works of, especially as we push higher and higher into all-time new highs, is just looking at this entire correction and then targeting the 1618. That is going forward. I said this last session last week. Okay, it's like, there you go. It's like 26,500. It's a minimum, again, minimum 1618 price discovery objective. That has to be the essence of how we're playing this entire move from now until we reach that area. I mean, look, we're piercing through all-time highs, prior all-time highs, basically 23. All right, 23 all the way down. I mean, that was just insane. Back up. Okay, poke it. Now, 23.6 was our measured level on the daily. We know the weekly is really in charge. That's really what this market is all about. This market is still about the fact that our weekly and monthly continuations in the whole assessment of what we've been saying long term, that this is just a continued long term bullish trend channel that wants to go higher. This thing, look, you can't fight this. And I'm gonna, I will come back to something here in a second about what I said about like the mid 90s, guys, and the fact that there are a lot of similarities here. This market is way strong. I mean, it is. I think people are underestimating what this is really telling us. And you're seeing the underlying strength. I mean, the news narrative and all of that garbage is just garbage. And then when we look at what's going on here, within the context of the trend channel, guys, listen, you're going to fight that, you're going to lose. That's it. I'm going to take away all the lines, everything. Let's just look at the channel and make this assumption. We do the harmonic measurements, right? Right. That's our edge. Our edge is the understanding of harmonic levels. We can verify them. They qualify. They satisfy all the necessary ingredients to basically give us that target. And within all of this, if this is a 1618 extension off of the last correction, it's just a top end test at the long-term channel. So right now, 23.6, could be 23.5, could be 22.5, doesn't matter. We are now playing for this accelerated move before the end of the year to 26.5. So that's the bottom line. I mean, and again, go beyond that, try to fight that. Everybody that did try to fight that has been absolutely eviscerated. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's just going to continue. So what you need to do is get your harmonic pattern collection software so that you can ride this puppy for the next 6, 12, 18 months, just pinpointing levels like we do every session. Send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Get the software that has just been delivering the goods nonstop. I mean, the levels that we have, the 23.6 level, that's automatically generated by the software, and yet here we are. And I would not, look, again, I'm super bullish on the long term. You got to love what's happened here. I would even argue that what happened back in March and April was extremely helpful to the well-being of the long-term trend. It shook out a lot of garbage. And the same point, now we're up here getting close to some short-term levels. Let's at least take a breath. Not a crazy thing here, but let's just take our time and understand that, okay, short-term, that hop level at 23,595, that's a big deal, at least for now. And let's just kind of take a victory lap. So it's what we do here, guys. The value of why you guys come to the show here, work with the software, is to distinguish and define the precise levels. 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly, all of that, not only to determine direction, but character. Character is critical. And the character of this market, we have really nailed this character of such a sharp type 2 return ever since this low, and then not only targeting 886 levels, but piercing up through prior all-time highs, hitting the measured pattern maximum. And now let's let that digest. 23.6 for me, guys, is good. Like, go take some time and then come back after a little 3-5% retracement. I'd love that. Boy, I don't know if we're going to get it. At this point, 4 months after the big meltdown, now we're praying, and I'm sure a lot of people that did not participate in this whole move or were actually getting out, we're saying, please come back in. Give me something. So that's the NASDAQ deal. Again, the weekly, the monthly, all of this lines us up where we are, continuing to fail all of the measured pattern levels. It's doing exactly what we knew it needed to do to fail to realize higher levels. And then, so NASDAQ, if that's 23.6, the Q's here at 570. 570, guys, is just amazing. That was 410 at the low? Right there at the tariff low. And this continues. Same deal. Remember, we're looking for that 1618. All right, and I'm not saying tomorrow or next month, but I'm lining up here is what should we be looking at, strategizing for from now into the end of the year. There's your 1618. It's like 625. I can't get that. 630. It's like there, 625, 630. Little overspill like that. It's 630. I would say 630 to 650 with the overspill range, but it's not 570. Let me be clear. And I again would love a pullback. I don't think we're going to get it. The way this thing is floating up here. This is some of the strongest action actually we could realize. It's not, believe it or not, it's not monster bullish behavior, but take a look at the last 3 weeks. Higher highs, higher lows, all the way up. And remember what I said months ago, that this recovery was all about forming higher lows. And it has successfully done that since the inflection low at April. And that's floating up. And they're not big candles. That's great. That's a real nice stair-step construction. That's character, guys. That's steady markup accumulation. There's no selling in there. That's normal market buying accumulation as this thing pushes higher. So let's rip through. That's NASDAQ, the Qs, okay, 570. Our larger year-end target is still, we're going to focus on that going forward, 630 plus, but I'll say 630. So how are we going to play it? Like, how do you get on here? Line it up hourly or even 4 hour, a 4 hour or even hourly little sell-offs. Like that was the last one back there last Tuesday. That was 560, now 570, and we're just going to keep doing that. We're just going to keep climbing like that. One moment. So with all of that lining up here, guys, this is the underlying argument. I'm just, I'm really encouraged by that kind of steady uptrend stuff. Just continues. So let's get into the Mag7 really quick, guys. Microsoft, incredibly, Microsoft opened up at 555, now 535. You're talking just enormous dollar figures to move that. Microsoft was up at like a 4 trillion market cap, um, and climbing, but the sheer dollar volumes to move that kind of action is crazy. It just really baffles how large that has been. But this massive breakout, all-time new highs, really needs to be looked at within the context of the monthly chart. And there's the monthly. The big 1618. Okay, up there at, what's that? Hold on. Monthly 1618. Yeah, there it is. It was hit. That was 535, 540. So that has already reached. I mean, Microsoft has reached its 1618, and we're at the top end of the channel. So for all of that coming together right now, all right, that just proves it. Now, the thing about Microsoft that I've been saying is that we take it all away. Take it all away and just look at the price action as it explodes to all-time new highs. There's a long-term chart, guys. Go back here. The pause for the 1 year pause was nothing, 470. And now we continue to rip it. I mean, these charts are just, they're going to blow your mind. They're blowing my mind. That is such a massive continuation move. Now we're going to be into the new month starting tomorrow, and just going to have to really see if that's it for now, or are we going to get more follow through. I don't know. I would love a little break, a little pause, but this is just realizing this longer term, multi-year, decade long, if not more, uptrend. Truly, truly amazing. The other amazing thing is Meta, guys, and it's now up 83, up 11%. I mean, that's that monthly chart, guys. Now 800, and this as well off the 2022 all-time move. It's like this. There's the one all-time 1618 was a violated 600, and then we have a little overspill. I mean, that was 700. So here's the thing, and why Meta? Obviously, big market cap and one of the big Mag7, but more so, this is leading relative to the 2022 bear market correction, retracement, or whatever you want to call it, to now where it is taken out top end levels that we now go into an accelerated move. And that accelerated move is like minimum 2618, like 915, 900, not 800. Okay, you're up 12% now, but we're targeting more like 900-ish or higher. This is definitely taking on the larger accelerated move within the framework of harmonic ratios. I'm just going to stick to the 2618 for now, but it's all up. And I'm not saying jump in right now, because that time was 2 months ago. Some of the others that we did get into, I'll highlight in a second, but that was 2 months ago, 3 months ago. But now, having made that much progress, what it's saying is that, look, yeah, we fulfilled the recovery. Now, do we go and just absolutely blister this for another cycle higher? And it's really leaning to that. So that, there you go. Amazon They're up today, up 472. This is starting to become a much bigger winner for me. And Amazon's the one that I jumped into, just been sitting on it. Took some heat, but, you know, all in all, not nearly as much as it doesn't seem so bad now. And the target, the return target on Amazon at 230 has been hit. There you go. It was always about this type 2 return off the deep crab. So let's watch earnings today. And I'm not selling. This is a no-sell situation. I don't care what happens. What I'm looking for is, if it backs off today, so what? If it blows through this hop level at 253, it's going to be like Meta. Take on a whole new accelerated cycle. And again, that's how we get NASDAQ to go to 26.5. This is how you're just literally going to drag the market up. Okay, you're going to drag the market up with these big Mag7 stocks. Nvidia. Where'd you go? Nvidia, 180, guys. It was 183 this morning. 190 has been our target, right? 190. So if we were right about all of this stuff and our minimum targets, like Nvidia, our minimum target has always been like 180, 190 with a 1902, more like 1618 minimum. That's how we get the 190, 195 on Nvidia, and we're not there yet. And in fact, it suggests Nvidia is poised for another 10% higher on this move. It's mind-blowing stuff, guys. This is some of the strongest price action. It does remind me. It reminds me a lot of the .com, and I think that's where we are. We are getting into that point where if the breakout on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ was like 1995, look out. There's a lot of similarities here. So, Amazon, Nvidia, right? What about Apple? They're coming up. They've been the laggard. And 208 currently. Are we I don't have a doubt on Apple. I mean, look, longer term, yeah, it's just at what point? Are we going to get the full retest to 185? That's still my ideal objective. And anything, if we got that and we get the type 2 on the deep crab within the whole trend channel, that would be it. Yep. So somewhat of a laggard, but at the bottom end of the long-term channel. Just continues. I mean, I'm not, look, there's the weekly. There you go. So I would love to see 185. I don't know if we're going to get it, but Apple as well, with all these Mag7, just continue to run the party. Broadcom. Yeah, Broadcom isn't. Oh man, we talked about Broadcom, and look at Broadcom hit the 1618 already, and that was the other one we said. Look, we were Broadcom like 150. That's a double off the low. That's a double, folks. That's a double off the April low. That's the kind of thing that's happening. 1618 on Broadcom is 330-ish. 335. Yep. Sure. Tesla. That's probably the biggest laggard. And I just think there's been a lot of funkiness around that whole story where the mass allocation needed to move these huge companies has to be full force. So with all the AI stuff, with Microsoft and Meta, Amazon, all of those plays, you don't have the politicization like you had on Tesla, especially last 6 months, 12 months. So I just think there's a lot of confusion around this. For us, again, we're still waiting. Look, can we get 267? Apple and Tesla are very similar. If they both can come in, I don't know, 10%, 7%, retest their patterns, that would be the low for the long-term low. Long-term cycle type low where, within that weekly channel, you don't look back. And on the weekly still for Tesla, we're resolving a few things, obviously, but we're looking for the long-term turnaround play like Amazon. I mean, there's a very similar set of circumstances with the pattern framework. Okay. Tesla, yet to get there. Amazon took its time, but now up there. And that's still the scenario with Tesla. Amazing. All right. Google, another medium laggard, but why? I don't see why. There's going to be obviously bigger winners than losers, but look, here's Google weekly. I would love it. That would be great if it was a Head and Shoulders on the weekly. But we're back up here regardless. I mean, longer term, the trend channel's still intact. We have patterns where I'm not too concerned at immediately on Google. Can we get and retest the butterfly hop level 205, 212 area? A lot there. And again, the channels here, and that's how I want everyone to think about this. The channels of what this has done historically, they don't stop. This is going to continue. Go off of 2013 or even off of like 2020. It's more like that. So, again, you have to not be in complete awe of what's going on here. These are overextended to the upside for now. I mean, and probably still will be. I think we'll get a pullback, some kind of pullback, but the longer term trend is just busting it now. So that's it. What's up, Mr. Bastian? Do I talk about crypto on this channel or just stocks? We talk about crypto. We'll go to Bitcoin in a minute. We're talking harmonic patterns. We talk the most relevant, important harmonic scenarios for all markets. Okay? That's what we do here. We're talking harmonic levels. That's why you come here. To get the framework, get the levels in a way that, only can be found here. And Mitch Ray for sure. Ponzi too, more on the Lieutenant Ponzi on crypto. But guys, every session, the way I come up with the idea is like, what's the most screaming opportunity? What's the most screaming development in the market? And that's going to impact the next week, 30 days, 90 days kind of a thing. These Mag7 stocks are just blowing it. And it's not a surprise because this is what we've been talking about. These massive channels to continue. But what it shows us is the larger allocation continues. The larger allocation of major markets, and that includes crypto, that continues. S&P 500, guys, all-time new highs were reached recently, and here we are again. Almost 6,500, and our 1618 extension, it targets 7K. All of that is just a fantastic environment for an allocation cycle that doesn't quit. Here we are with the bat pattern up there against, remember, all the futures. The future setups had bearish patterns. That 63.50, that was the big level for us. Like this, there you go. So 63.50 is we're about 100 now, about 80 above that. But we're still looking at this level. Could be a little bit of an overspill for S&P 500, and because that's a broader gauge of the economy in general, the big move that I would expect going into next year to get us to 7,000 has to come something like this. Can we get a little pullback up here, retrace, get an oversold, and then really accelerate into the end of the year? That should be our setup for major markets in general. I would say crypto too. But the allocation that we've talked about, the follow through that we've talked about for since March or April, has been realized, and realized in a stronger way than I think anybody, even myself, really anticipated. But right now, immediate levels. Okay, let it do its thing. We hit targets. We've hit all of the summer targets we talked about, and the last of them were this week, just in the last couple of days. So be aware of that. Be aware that, okay, let's get through these earnings here. Let's have a little breather. And then we're going to start to have to assess the bigger scenario. And the bigger scenario also includes Bitcoin. And so let's jump over to crypto. What happened, right? Everyone's freaking out. Guys, I don't know how you could be freaking out. I mean, you should still be celebrating the fact that Bitcoin annihilated the 115 level. You've got the major markets continuing to break out in impressive fashion, which is overall the kind of allocation cycle you want to see. Bitcoin cracked the 115. We're pausing. Why? Well, there's a 4-hour crab pattern here. It's not a big deal. And I told you guys that 116 with some things back here, HSI stuff, 116.5, and we have this bigger deep crab pattern on Bitcoin. But what's it showing us? It's kind of a dud. In fact, it's a bigger dud on the 4-hour. And then look what we just generated since yesterday. A dot, HSI bullish, counter, meaning opposite to the bearish pattern. You can't, look at all of this action here. You can't sell it down. And so that makes 116, 117-ish, the low end of the range. And I would be expecting this thing to push back up into here above 120, get to 122 pretty soon. I don't think we're going to get a type 1 because we've had way more than 30 bars, you know that. But then check out what's happening. We got oversold, and now we're above the 50 level on the 4-hour for Bitcoin. So I think expectations have just been too high, thinking that just because Bitcoin goes up all-time new highs, it just should continue. Think of it more the stair-step process. And within this, right now, 115 is our immediate support, maybe more like 117. And we're getting ready for what I think is the next step. And the next step from these current levels is like 132. You go here, go to our daily. All right, shark pattern up here. Trying to fail it. Let's see what happens. We do have, here's the interesting thing, okay? We had the shark, and it was a dud. We had counter and counter signals. So I thought we'd get, man, if we had target one, I would have been so psyched. Didn't get it. Regardless, we're back up here. What's happening? We do have another confirmation, but there's no reaction. There's nothing here because think of it this way: within the 3 to 5 window, you get a signal. All right, you get the dot, especially at a pattern, whatever, and then you're looking 3 to 5 window, 3 to 5 bars. What's it do? No action, no response. Sideways, every time they throw this down, guys, 116 gets bought up. So be aware of this coming together right now where Bitcoin, it's just scraping it. It's the summer. Um, in my opinion, Bitcoin's already been set free. All right. 115 was it. 115, that prior resistance. Now support, we're looking for 122, 123 immediately. Like the next week, maybe come back by Tuesday. We're making progress towards there to then set up, fail this shark and go higher. Go higher now, like this, off the shark. That's all you could muster. Where's the 1902 end of that is like 125. This 1618 is like right there off of like around 121. 121, 122-ish. You're just doing you're doing this 1618, a little retrace, go again, and this is how it goes. I mean, Bitcoin, yeah, the long-term chart does seem like it's straight up, but it's not really. It's not. Look, it's just another one of these Mag7 type long-term trend channels that are continuing to go higher. Yeah, and that should be the kind of the path forward into next year. Looking forward the larger targets, yes. Remember, our big targets, minimum upside target for the cycle is the 160 level. Like that. All right, within the uptrend, this whole uptrend. But we know things get skewed. And so I'm actually looking at this move right now to stay on kind of an accelerated uptrend like that. All right, bust out of that top end of the channel and push it higher in an accelerated fashion into the end of January. All right, beyond that, the larger progression of how this continues, it won't change. But the primary premise, just so we're really clear, and especially for those new folks, welcome new folks. Look, the Bitcoin situation still is that we violated the 1618 right there. We took out the 1902, and now we accelerate. First stop, 2618. 2618 is like that. It's 155. 160-ish, and that's my strategy here going forward. What I think will happen is we'll get to that 160 level and we'll blast through, but measured. I mean, I have to give you guys concrete points of measurement to build my argument. Basing it off of harmonic levels, harmonic metrics. All right, what those specific ratios tell us still point to 160, 2618. What's up, Hookafish? He's asking, what are my thoughts that Bitcoin has 4 green candles in a row? I think Michael Saylor's going to go down as like one of the richest guys in the world. If he's proven true, because look, 4 monthly candles, that's great. Where are those 4 monthly green candles happening is a better story. And it's a story that, starting to make the last cycle look not only small, but tiny. So here you had 1, 2, 3, 4 on the way up, okay, for the last cycle, and that was 35K, and you didn't top out till 65. It's here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We haven't had, I mean, this is the other thing. We haven't had that blow off move, guys. We have yet to experience that true blow off move. You go to the last cycle, that blow off move was here. So think of it in this regard. You clear the prior all-time cycle, you clear the 1618, and then you can accelerate to do, what I think people seem to believe happens every cycle. That just goes straight up. Not true. It goes straight up beyond the obvious minimum price discovery targets, like a 1618. There, 3618 was their last cycle. It's like 57. I have to get that right. Yeah. But relative to this cycle, it's like this. There, and then there's our 1618. All right, and now get into the accelerated kind of path. Very similar situation. So the 4 monthly green bars, well done. Okay, now let's get some blow-off bars. I don't think we've seen blow-off bars yet. And we get to that. The all-time 3618 is going to be my maximum measure move. I will be looking for exits at that point. We'll ride it all the way through. What's that? I don't know who that is. Don't know. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. David saying go back and look at any video 3, 6, 12 months ago. Guys, please do that. Please. If you're here, why are you here? You're here to learn. I'm here to accelerate your learning curve. Okay? And the best way to do that, get over to harmonictrader.com and get your free harmonic pattern trial, HPC, for TradingView by sending your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. All right, get the software, work with it so that you can decipher the cycles, the levels like we do here. But do review. Just randomly pick, I don't know, one presentation from 3 months ago, 6 months ago. You guys will see how consistent all of this has been as we continue to build our argument to these levels. Let's see. Justin saying 134K is the first blow off. I agree with that. I agree. I think it's like 132, man. So, not yet, guys. I haven't given anything away yet. So just hold on. Hold on. I'll give away a 30-day trial in a few minutes. Nice way to jump the gun, though. I don't know who are these people you guys are mentioning, and they're probably a lot younger than me. So, oh, you're talking about somebody else. I don't know. I don't know who these other people are, guys. But I would encourage you to question and challenge what we do here so that you learn. Please go ahead and challenge what the harmonic levels are all about, harmonic patterns. By all means. I encourage the criticism because I think going through that process, I stand by everything that I do. And going through that process, you challenge what's going on here. And I think what happens is you get into a point of discovery of what you're doing. Like, wait a minute, I'm seeing levels and things that I didn't see before with any other approach. That's the typical light bulb switch going on, especially for seasoned traders. So don't know. All right, I'll look at a couple. You guys have some ideas here. Let's just shoot all over and go. What's up? Mr. Casa wants to look at what? Crowdsource? CRWD? Crowdsource. Shark pattern, counter shark. Great stock. Look at this trend. Again, just ride the channel for something like that. The daily here is, a little overstretched at 425, 430, but it's massive uptrend. We're still looking for the stuff like where you are currently, 450, 460. I don't, these are this like second layer Mag7 type stocks that will continue higher. They're not going to move as fast. AVAX. Sure, we can look at AVAX. AVAX as an Avalanche. I'm going to jump all over the place. So AVAX USD. Oh, we can look at, I'll look at the XRP situation and XLM. Avalanche, just pure recovery play, guys. All right, not a heck of a lot down here. I'm still preferring trending crypto, and I'll get to that in a second. Hold on. Here you go. There's AVAX. We are currently going daily bat to shark to 5.0. And I had a problem with AVAX too, because I just said, if this thing was so great, it would be a lot higher aggressively trending. It's not. At the moment, look, let's just do it this way. Shark to 5.0. Okay, until we reach that target at 2151, still down. Longer term picture, we know this thing is scraping lows. It would need to resolve that. What's up? Mr. Quant saying, he's asking, do harmonics work on tick charts? Absolutely, they work on tick charts. You know what the thing is with the tick charts? Do you have enough time and a large enough price range on that time scale to really capture something? Maybe looking at a tick chart on futures might be great to see patterns that are coinciding and converging with larger time level setups. So it does work. It's just how much of a price range can you capture, and can you react within that period of time? Oh, sorry. Okay. XRP. After the monster move, what happened? I told you guys this. We had this big looping hop retest right here at the crab at 354. Okay, and we're just resolving that. And I said after the hop, we had to get above the hop. Looked like we were trying to poke it last week. Didn't want to continue through. All right, let this settle out. If you want to know where the super moon phase is, it's above this hop level after we fail this retest. I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, XRP, the weekly, the monthly charts are pretty insane. I'm impressed. Can we get the next daily oversold? Something like that? Like, we're here. So this is an interesting point with XRP, that we are in the oversold already. And I'd be watching this go into next week, where if XRP pops out of here, we hold the 50 level. Okay, that would probably be the next spot to be looking, somewhere in here. around the 3-ish. It all depends on when this decides to come up. So you need a couple of green candles on that. XLM, man, after, remember that? After the butterfly pop, we have another daily oversold. So this too has let out a lot of air, but you need, if we're going to get that continuation move, if the next kind of wave, you will. All right, there was the butterfly. What we're looking for from here, get that to complete. Maybe today, maybe tonight you have a dot, and then we'll take a look. All right, I think, is crypto dead? No. No, just taking a breather. Again, separating the top 50 crypto from the rest of everything that's there is critical. And I would even say top 10. Yeah. What's up, Steven? How are you? Great to see you guys. Come on in, everybody. Nice. Dogecoin. All right, for JT. What's up, JT? Dogecoin, again, this is another target to target play. And look what the targets are. I have not been enthusiastic about Dogecoin. I'm still not. But my only argument is that if you're going to play it to target. And so for Dogecoin, that was this bat, which was a type 1 at about 14.5. Target 1 was 27.3. It's done. Gave us a bearish shark back down. My only question is, where does this stop? Do we do shark to 50? 20 cents? 20.8 cents? Maybe. Again, I don't think, if we're not trending, if you're in a crypto that hasn't broken out, it's not at all-time new highs, not progressing, then it's a recovery. And you just got to play it target to target. Like a lot of people are holding this thinking, okay, someday this is going to go to $1. In the meantime, you went from 10 to almost 50, back to 14. So it's not sustainable. You get the move, take it, trade it. That's all. I mean, the Doge situation, maybe it's a shark to 50, 20 cents back to 27 eventually. But for that as being something that's gangbusters, no. No, you'd need a lot more work to do that. Don't know. What's going on, Neil? When do he's asking? I appreciate that. He says, Scott, I always love your opinion. Where do you see Bitcoin topping out, alts to run, and then bull run to be over? Well, great question, Neil. Thanks. Let's go Ethereum BTC for a second. Just kind of get updated. Where are we? Above 3? Yeah, 3.2. Remember this? Okay, because it was where we had a renewed life at this low finally for alts. Okay, my point is this, and I've been following this for a while, and we looked at this. I think it was back in like February and March, as it was getting down to this 886. I said we need price action. We need at least one green month, and if not, a 3-bar turnaround. The 3-bar breakout we will have as of today, by the close of today. And so this is encouraging too now for alts to eventually see a follow through over the next few months. And I think what we're looking at here is early stages, but you have a type 1. Okay, you've seen response in the alts. Everyone's looking for Ethereum to start to outperform Bitcoin so that all those alts can run. Think of it like this. Let's get this. This is a breakout month, no doubt. We should see acceleration next month and the follow through to where this does a type 1 reaction. 4.5, 4.4, maybe as high as 6. But that's a big candle. So when? I would say starting literally tomorrow, because now we're out of the zone. And if we're really going to bust a move, it should follow through into the next month or 3 months even, up into target. So yeah, we're really close. I mean, again, I'm thinking like it's now, guys. It's now. Not that not that it's just going to explode now, but the progress will continue. Much like what we saw in June, May and June, I was looking for that continuation build in stocks, and we got it. And now let's see it in the alts and crypto, like Ethereum. I'm totally blown away. I'm totally blown away that Ethereum got washed out the way it did down to 1500, and then they were able to run it back to 4K like it was nothing. I'm not a fan of the Ethereum chart. I'm still not. I'd rather go to Bitcoin or XRP over Ethereum. But I'm certainly watching it because what's transpired is this just like a straight up, straight down, or a straight down, straight up situation. We do have Ethereum is overbought at the moment. So again, we want to watch all of this. We want to watch that 3,800 level because Ethereum is the key. Like what needs to happen is you need to see Ethereum break above decisively 4K, which is amazing because we were just 1,500 2 months ago. But that's what would need to happen. So I'm monitoring that situation. I think it's going to be slower to move than stocks. We saw how aggressively stocks did what it needed to do. Crypto, just not moving it as hard, but getting there. I think it's still a Bitcoin show. And then the rest will follow through. According to Stocks by the Numbers, a three-year stockbroker, the Harmonic framework is BS. Awesome. Marley, man, that's me. All right, Marley. Yeah, you're going to get that. That's why you guys are here. And that's why that guy's a stockbroker. Okay, I'm a former registered investment advisor. I have all the licenses. I probably have more licenses or did than that stockbroker. All right. And this is that's a great point. It's a great comment for this reason. Everyone is going to face those BS assessments, okay, in a way that will make you think. Like, hey, some stockbroker at some company is telling me the way that I look at the markets is bullshit. Okay, you can have that opinion. All right, but this is where every one of you need to think for yourself. Do I need to look at the markets from a harmonic pattern framework to get an insight of really where it's going? Is it just, are these numbers just nonsense? I mean, the same numbers like the 1618 that repeats over and over in all the growth cycles in nature. Do you think that they repeat in the markets? And do you think that that's of value when we see something at a 1618 that it might be overextended either way, up or down? Because that's the assessment. And it doesn't take long working with the patterns and the software to see whether it's not bullshit. So I'll tell you what, Let's give away an HPC 30 package to the first person that types in HPC 30 so you guys can see whether or not it's bullshit for yourself. But I like those comments because I got a lot of that early on. You know, guys that were, guys early on, people that would contact me. All right. And they, you know, they first they were like, oh, this is nonsense. And then, hold on. And then they start following and see how much the patterns worked. And then before you know it, they're calling me up. They're getting the software. They're wanting to know. So, okay, great. Yep. I'm glad. Bring those comments. Challenge what we do here, okay? That's how you learn. That is how you learn. Get over to our Discord here and access the community, access the resources so you guys can learn and make your own decision. Don't follow a stockbroker. Don't even follow me. All right, who won that? Who won that? What's up? The Switch Guy. What's up, Switch Guy? Welcome to the show. Switch Guy, you got to hit me up on Discord. Full name, TradingView username, and email address, please. Hit me up on that link on the Discord. Anyone else that wants to join me over on the Discord, just sign up for the basic chat on the link. You have any questions, DM me directly. No doubt. Listen, anything you're going to learn about the market's going to take a period of time to overcome the learning curve. Whether it's fundamental price to earnings ratios or you're going to follow a bunch of New York guys who are going to give you earnings estimates. I prefer to measure the market myself, analyze trends, and look for points of being overbought and oversold for levels to get in and get out. Couple more. And that's the other reason why that I make all of this free over at harmonictrader.com. Get the trial. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com and get over and just dive in. As a free basic member, register now. Just send your email and you'll be set up. But why? Again, I come back to this is the biggest challenge of my career, guys, is to basically say, I don't care who's wherever, how much money you manage, and I've dealt with big people. I have dealt with billionaire fund managers before who came to me for answers. I didn't go to them. They came to me for answers on the markets. Now, I'm going to get into a drawn out discussion because there is a lot of shenanigans, nepotism, favoritism, whatever ism you want to say ism. But doesn't matter ism. What matters is that we dig in, we get serious, we build our own net worth based on the decisions we make ourselves. Make the assessments. Listen to what I have to say, but do the research. Follow along. Again, as David mentioned earlier, go back and look at any session from a year ago about what we were saying about Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was 50, 60K, and we're saying, guys, 1025 based on the 1618. So many examples like that. But I still say put it all to the test. You're going to need to. If you're going to do this, you got to dig in. You got to get serious. Okay? And you got to challenge me, other people, myself, even your own brain. Greg wants to look at Eli Lilly. Let's keep jumping around. What has Lilly done? 755 long term. You know, I think about Eli Lilly and I think about United Healthcare. Is this run over in Eli Lilly? Because I'm looking at that uptrend. Long-term uptrend is done. Greg, what do you think about that? Do you think it's going to make a big move? Teed up nicely? I'm not so sure. To me, this might be leaking. Might be trying to break the long term. I mean, really, that's an accelerated uptrend like that. We do have some bullish oversold support down here around 790. But it does kind of remind me of United Healthcare. There's the daily too. So again, what I think versus what we've got here on the chart, let's just describe it out. What the heck? There you go. Hold on, hitting all kinds of buttons. It's a type 2 at 780, 770. That's about it. I think there's better ones than this. I really do. I think there's better stocks out there come to mind. You know, it's a lot of the semiconductors, or just buy Nvidia. God, I mean, we don't have to overcomplicate it. I mean, Nvidia to 195, 200, easy. Eli Lilly back to 916 maybe. But this has gotten weaker in the last 6 months for sure. Couple more. DXY, what's up, hot dog? Wants to look at the dollar index. Yeah, I know. I hear you. Where is it? Come on. Dollar index. All right, little pop. Where is it? The weekly. The weekly is like this, guys, with the dollar index. And it's pretty amazing. Look what happened so far this year. Dollar's been eviscerated. Okay? But what happened? Like, this wasn't a one-to-one correlation. Because there's February. And then that's when the market started to tank. But the dollar just kept going lower, and yet we rebounded. Not really a correlation here. But dollar index, like at 97, yeah. That's your immediate support on the weekly level. It's actually a type 1, a type 2 at the hop. I'm not really too concerned about the dollar. I think you look at it like this. Actually, dollar index just continues longer term with this kind of monthly situation. And we're at the low end of that uptrend channel. So geez, could be there on the monthly here. We're going to seal the deal with HSI this month, but then probably come back and check as we try to get another dot. It's more like that. The dollar's, I know people are talking about it. It's kind of a non-story. Few more. What's up, Fernando? Yeah, we did Ethereum. What's up, Chase? DDD. Didn't we look at that last time? That was 3D printer, right? 3D systems. Wasn't this a penny stock? Yeah, it's a penny stock. Look, I'd rather have stuff that's moving than try to chase something like that. Former high flyer, 90 all the way back to $1. Yeah, again, we want stuff trending, guys. Great to see you. Kaza, why does Greg's asking why does Ethereum stink or suck? It's proof of stake. proof of shat or shaft. Not sure. Guys, there's better trends. I mean, Bitcoin, XRP. Those trends are just, that's what the kind of trend you're looking for. What's up, Crypto Street? What's up, man? You're new. What's going on? He wants to look at the BIMNER. All right. Bitmine Resources. Bitmine. This is the Ethereum play, right? Ethereum treasury. Everything treasury. Did it really do that? Is that why everyone was jumping on this? People have been nagging me about this. Amazing. What the heck? That was $1 to 150? Can't be real. I gotta look at that. Regardless, BMNR sitting here registering a daily yellow dot. So, I know some people are speculating on this stuff, looking for a crypto surge. Maybe after we retest that dot, and that's at 33, currently 35. What was the other one? The Sharp Link, SBET, Ponzi, I think, posted on that. And we have 4 hour. I should see a pattern here. 4 hours oversold, but the hourly, there was some kind of big pattern. Don't know. I'll have to come back to that. I thought I had a pattern on that one. Oh, yeah, I think I know what it was. Yeah, it was extended hours. Hold on. It was extended hours. I did see this, and I think it's hourly chart. Should be here. There it was. The Sharp Link Gaming. Here's a great pattern with confirmation, but I would only say look for recovery bounce. A lot of these did their moves, and then they're kind of rolling over. I mean, this one reminds me of Metaplanet. Remember Metaplanet? Metaplanet was supposed to be that Bitcoin treasury play. That did a big pop and rolled over. Hold on. Hold on. Where is it? MTPLF. It's like that. This is what I want you guys to be aware of. This Meta Planet, it was a Bitcoin treasury play, spiked. I just want to bring it to your attention. I want you guys to not chase this kind of stuff. I won't necessarily call it garbage, but this is a blow off move. Total speculation. How do you know? Just measure it. Look, what's the extension here? There's your 1618. Goes above your 1902. Accelerates. There's 2618. 314 right there. That was it. And then back down. So I would be aware of these. Be cautious with these because a lot of them do this crazy pop-up moves and then they do their rollover. And so that's Sharp Bet and BMNR. What's up, Max? Max wants to look at Root. Root. Nice trend. I mean, you got to like that. You got to like that kind of uptrend move. I mean, that's pretty sick. Oversold at the moment, but it's more like 125 is the number. Currently 120. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I just don't have any patterns here. So I can't really offer anything. And I'm not going to just say, hey, just go. I don't really have anything yet. I'd keep my eye on it. That's a nice trending position. I would love to have a hourly or 4 hour pattern. Anything on there? The last few things were bearish. There's your hourly chart. Maybe more like 110, 113. I'm not sure. That's true. What's up, Amoeba? Amoebatize wants to look at what's PGen. Never heard of that. Priceygen, Precigen. I don't know that one. I have never heard of that. And for that one, for me to not know a symbol, it has to be pretty much a low float market cap play. I don't have anything there. Unless there's something you should be telling me I should be looking at. I don't have much for you. Sorry. We need to stick with the bigger stuffs. Few more. Is LAC dead? No, it's just going sideways for a long time because LAC is a big monthly pattern. I'm not too concerned. Couple more. What's up, Floyd? Yeah, Palo Alto, PANW. Yeah, well, nice bat pattern. Type 1. I guess the earnings didn't really work out, did they? Yeah, I'm not. There's Palo Alto. Now, I know this has been a phenomenal winner. There you go. Like, look, last 10 years, certainly like the last 7 years, it's like this from there to there. Yeah, I don't have much of opinion. Maybe down a little bit lower. Maybe more like 160 or 150. No, I just can't offer much there. Topped out. I think you're gonna have to come back and retest some of these lower levels. I don't have really much to offer on that situation, and that's okay. You're not going to have a pattern on every situation that is can define a clear play. So you just move on, let it come back in. Oh, whoa, check out NASDAQ is now down 80, guys. Nice. We like that. There you go. Hold on, let me come back to this NASDAQ quickly. Down 80. We were up 300. Not a bit. I don't really, not worried. If anything, I like that. Wow, 23.6 was amazing. Here you go. You're all the way back down here. You're going to come back to what, 360? Take out the prior low. There's your 886. It's amazing. Probably get another dot. 4 hour. There's your 4 hour chart. Clean it up. It seems huge, right? Like it seems nasty. Oh my God, the thing sold off 400 points and nothing. I mean, again, we've had this time and time again, here and there. Just let it fall. Let it fall. If anything, like, prior HSI is like 23,150. I'd love to see something like that. You want to let this thing come in a little bit, guys. This has been the summer rally. I mean, it's just been an awesome summer rally, and we've hit targets. Mag7 has done everything it needed to do. I mean, everything we asked of it is here. And it might be done for now. It might be done for a little while. And that would be all right. And then we come back later on it. Couple more. Does it work in XAU? Of course it works in XAU. XAU, like that. Gold. We know the deal on gold. Question on the XAU. Do harmonic patterns work on the XAU? Yeah. Do we have anything immediately right here on XAU? Not really. Better to look at gold because we're at that all-time, the 3350 level. We're right there. 3350 is the all-time 2618. We're still stuck in this range, guys. Nothing really changes about it. The gold story is this. Building, just a big pause. And once we break out above that 35, 3600, it's a continuation off to the races. I'd love to get some kind of pullback, but we've been here 3, 4 months now. We're in a pause. We're just in that pause. Let it do its thing. And same with silver. What's up, KG? Still in silver, though. We did CRV. Oh, CRWV. What's that? Core weave. What's the deal in that core weave? Anybody? What is the big? What's their big angle there? Because I know a lot of people are talking about that. Up 13 today. 4-hour chart. Nice bat. Alternate bat. Like right around where it is. So I would look at that. I need to get more information on that one. Oh, Grace. What's up, Miss? The foundation request was this. Grace Foundation was looking for UPS. Nice dump. Man, what happened to that stock? Well, here it is. UPS. You know, it's interesting. These stocks have not run. And look at UPS all the way down here at 5-year support with the bat pattern. Yikes. Not much I can offer. Again, another one, just let this fall. But the other thing is, if you're looking for a bullish opportunity, just let it break the 3-year downtrend first. Step one, get out of the, change the trend. And that's still lower. Hop level's like 85. What's that? Sorry. There you go. Hop level on that bat is 68.42. And I would say that's where it's headed. What's going on? Yeah, look, not all stocks are the same. If anything, you see the difference between what the Mag7's doing and a lot of these other stocks. And I would love to see these other stocks catch a bid and start to turn around. I mean, that, Whirlpool, it's these kind of stocks where when these stocks finally do turn around, and Whirlpool is just an example, there's a zillion of these, that's when you're going to see the Dow and S&P and Russell absolutely explode. There's a lot of these that have gotten hit. That one. Remember Pepsi. Like that. A lot of these consumer cyclicals, but they have patterns. So that's a good thing. Imagine you have a lot of stocks like this that are 30 to 50% off their all-time highs, and then yet you have the major indices just rocking. If these catch a bid, and they are, a lot of these are these old stodgy manufacturing, food, consumer durable, cyclical type stocks, they're all at their multi-year, decade-long bottom-end trend channels. They deserve a look. They deserve a look for, a future turnaround in the next couple of months. Longer term play, but again, that's the kind of thing Pepsi, I think it's a forever stock. It's something you can just wait for the trend channel tests and you're there. And Pepsi, Whirlpool, Target. Okay, what happens when these catch a bid and start moving again? Because they're all dramatically oversold. And here's Target, perfect type 2 on the bat. I'm monitoring a lot of these. If they start to turn, the market's going to just absolutely explode. It is truly remarkable that a lot of these type of stocks are 50% or more. This one's 60+% off its all-time high. Okay, but we get out of this ditch. That's a massive multi-year turnaround going on. You got it. Couple more. Are we good? Floyd's Garage says Nvidia is round tripping revenue through CoreWeave. Probably. Probably. That Nvidia chart at 4+ trillion is just devastatingly strong. HYMC. I have no idea what that is. Highcroft Mining. Can't do anything with that, man. I mean, look, there's pattern, sure, but okay, we're at the same levels we were 5 years ago. If you ever see something like this, guys, I mean, it's a beautiful pattern, what have you, but this to me is like a dead stock. And you need to see progress. You need to see some trading within it. This is just not, this is like, think of it as an EKG, and this is somebody's heart palpitations. That's their heart waves. There's no action. I mean, that guy's flatlined. So we got to find stuff that's actually moving, making progress, shaping up, going higher. Oh, look at Old Dominion. Jeez. That's another one. Old Dominion Freight. This is after the split. I'm looking as another one because this has been a long-term trending stock, and you've got some patterns here. Yeah, right about where we are. I'm just watching this now. I guess they didn't like earnings today. But it's more because of this. This are we on the low end of this channel? It's like that. I'm watching that. That's right, David. The market signature. What is the market signaling to us? What are its sine waves telling us? Absolutely. Appreciate it, Greg. What's up? Mr. Stara is saying that he thinks gold will be in a sideways action for 6, 12, 18 months. I disagree. I think maybe 3 months, but 4,100 on gold's my target for next year. 4,100. Yep. Yep. That's awesome. I agree. Yes. All good, guys, on that earlier comment, too. Um, and I just want to say this, okay? About the whole harmonic patterns don't work. I've been listening to that since I introduced the ideas 25, 30 years ago. And the harmonic patterns were kind of an advancement of things that were already going on in the technical community. Like XABCD. I didn't invent that, but I dramatically refined it into that harmonic pattern categorization. So relative to the market history, we're talking 25 plus years, not a long time. Not a long time when Elliott Wave's been around almost 100. All right, so and I got that the first many years. The whole harmonic patterns are bullshit. I got that a lot, but then what happened was just over time, we were right, and we continue to be right based on the patterns versus other people's PE ratios or what have you. And the 2008 crash, which was something I talked a lot about based on the patterns, was where people got wiped out and the harmonics worked. All I got to say with all of that, no matter what you do with the markets, okay, put it upon yourself to make your own decisions and get to that intellectual level where you have the experience, the knowledge to make the assessment. That's why you do what you're doing with me here today on a harmonic level. Study the framework. Get over to Harmonic Trader here. Get with the software. Okay, just register now. Get with the software. Check out the resources, and get the 30-day free trial. All right, all of that. A lot to get to. I mean, I could go on and on, but I always say think for yourself. Quickly, MicroStrategy, guys. I know someone asked for that earlier. I wanted to take a peek. We're up here at 400 on the monthly. This is, I still say 540 retest is essential, but I'm looking at this closely because are we revving for the next wave? Just remarkable. I mean, MicroStrategy is, and especially with all of these asset plays now, this is unusual within the history of the markets. You got that kind of a thing. You've got the whole idea of investing in something like Bitcoin, which is not tangible in any way, and it's basically converting real dollars into a digital numbers. And this has become a $1 trillion asset category that with impressive charts, impressive action, allocation, continuing, that you have to kind of go with that overall trend until it fails you. For right now, there's MicroStrategy. And just not coming off of, look, this is what I wanted to show you. We had this big surge. That was .com 2000 all the way back down. You know that. My point is that after such a move, and that is by definition right there, this MicroStrategy, Michael strategy, better way to say it, that should have been a one all end all be all, but it hasn't. And we've not only have we held up, all right, but we're returning to go back and retest these highs. And again, for the markets, for a tech player like this, all of that is continued bullish action to look forward to. Where, hey, if I was really bearish, I would get bearish after the second retest. I would require a secondary test of the resistance. But in the short term for now, until we get up there, you got to favor the upside. We'll continue with that. I expect things like today, I mean, not we're down 120 now. Great. That's a 400 or 500 point reversal. But how many of those have we seen in the last 6 months? A lot. I mean, we were seeing 500 point reversals in March and April almost every day. So just settle in, guys. I have zero concerns about this market. I embrace a retracement. I hope for retracements, further retracements, so that we can all add, accumulate, initiate positions that we can buy on a discount and just continue on this kind of path forward. Big numbers. I'll leave you with these. S&P 7,000. It's not going to be a straight shot, but we'll get there this year. NASDAQ 26.5. Again, not a straight shot. We get there by the end of the year. Bitcoin 160. Not a straight shot, but we get there by the end of the year. Okay? And I'm just want to always leave you guys with concrete measured levels. Okay? So, because that's the biggest part of what we do. Build an argument, define targets, define entries, define stops, okay, and make that gambit, make that play into those levels. But the longer term trend of everything we've seen, all these markets, Mag7, Bitcoin, I mean, it's all continuing to ride this railroad track higher. Aside from everything else, that's what I will continue to focus on, deliver you guys levels, concrete assessment, where are we going and what's the character of the whole move. That's what we do. All right, guys, thanks for your patience with me since Tuesday, but I will be back on next Tuesday coming up. You have any questions, get over on the Discord. Okay? If you have to get the software, you have any questions about the software, you want a discount to the software, send me a note. Final piece. All right? We're going to do the next installment of our HPC series, and that's definitely going to happen September 1st. That is unbelievable. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks from Monday. I'll have more information on that come Tuesday. But until then, I'm back on vacation. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Have a great one. You have any questions, get over to me over at Harmonic Trader. But until then, it's time for a little dice and other fun. Appreciate you guys. Have a great one. As always, go get them, and we'll